Hey, it's Monday. Welcome back. Wow, the lockdown's beginning to get the hair, The hair is growing. No barbers, no hairdressers. Wow, we're all going to have big bushy hairstyles by the end of this. How are you guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's a brand new week here in It's Within Your Reach, the Total Mind Fitness Wellbeing Workout. Get your hellos in the comments. Let's see who's here. Let's see who's joining in. Let's see who's going to be part of this community. Let's see what's going on. Already we've got Denise is here. Welcome is in the house. Woo! I think it might even be her birthday. Happy birthday, Denise, if I'm right. Stick in the comments that it's your birthday. A big happy birthday for Denise. Wonderful. And Carmen Muntz is here. Hi to you, Carmen. Welcome. Wonderful, wonderful Monday. Look outside. I don't know what it's like with you, but with me, there's beautiful blue skies, just like the one behind me. There's some beautiful white clouds. There's even some beautiful dark gray clouds. Yes, in the sky, there's all sorts of things. Sometimes there's white clouds. Sometimes there's gray clouds. Sometimes there's black clouds. Ooh, black clouds. Sometimes there are no clouds. But the sky is always the same. The sky is the container that holds the weather. What happens if we were the container and not the clouds? If we identify ourselves with the clouds, then one day we're going to be pulled this way to the black clouds. The next minute we're going to be pulled this way to the gray clouds. Next minute we'll be pulled this way to the white clouds. Ooh, that sounds even exhausting talking about that. What about just being the sky and just being able to hold everything in our lives? Holding it lightly like these fluffy clouds. Yeah, sometimes there's rain, right? Sometimes there's rain. You know what? Sometimes there's rain even when we don't really want it. Yeah, we want the sun. So we go outside, we're walking in our forest, we're going, a beautiful day, we've gone for a forest, and when time comes, we're walking back, we've got our car parked at the end of the forest, and we're walking through, and what happens? Thunder and lightning, it starts to rain. And it's pouring down of rain, and we're getting soaked, and the water's dripping in our eyes, and our shoes are getting filled up with water, and we're standing in these big puddles, and it's really, really uncomfortable, and we're beginning to feel the cold air now, because when we get wet, you start to feel the cold air more. The sun's going down, it's getting a little darker, and we're standing there in the forest. Now, what do? Right? It's raining, and we say, you know what? I wish it wasn't raining. In fact, I really beg that it's not going to rain. I hate this rain, especially right at this moment, okay? I really hate it. And it's really uncomfortable. In fact, it's giving me pain because I'm so cold and so wet. So what are we going to do? Are we going to just sit down in the wet, in the rain, on the ground, and just keep going on about how much we hate the rain? Look, it's going to rain whether we like it or not. Or are we going to keep going towards the edge of the forest? Are we going to keep walking, even though it's raining? Even though it's cold and uncomfortable, even though we don't like this situation, and quite legitimately so, even though we're in a certain amount of pain, even though we're in a certain amount of frustration and annoyed, and in fact, we're getting really angry that it's raining, but we need to keep on going towards the edge of the forest, because that's where our car's parked, and then we can get home and be all nice and warm, okay? So our emotions are like this. Sometimes we get the black clouds. Sometimes we get the gray clouds. Sometimes we get the white clouds. And we don't like it. And it's very uncomfortable. And we're very aware of it. But we've got to keep that going. We've got to keep going towards living our life the way we find it as being important, the way that it matters to us. Keep on going, even though, yeah, it's a bit sometimes uncomfortable walking with these squishy shoes. All right, so Denise tells us, yeah, it's her birthday. It's embarrassing. Of course, it's embarrassing. Hello, yes, birthday time. I'm at work. NHS staff, NHS staff, wonderful. But Zoom family, yeah, she's going to do the Zoom family birthday party. If we were all in the room now with you, Denise, we'd all be singing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I mean, what's more embarrassing than that, okay? You know, me singing happy birthday to Denise in front of I don't know how many people watching, but that's the way it is. It's about celebrating together. It's about these little embarrassing moments. Be aware of that embarrassment. Yeah, that's okay. But let's keep going to what's important. And what's important is we want to celebrate this birthday with you. What a wonderful day having Denise. The honor of having Denise here with us on her birthday. And she's at work too. NHS staff. Fantastic. The ones that are looking after us. You know, everybody has their time. Everybody has the time. And this is now the time of the NHS staff. It doesn't matter which part of the NHS you're working at. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Everything really is important. It's really important. Part of the big cogs of the big wheel of that whole system of a national health service. It's very, very privileged to have something like that. It's wonderful. So Adrian, coming in from Scotland, woo, is in the house, says hi, Dov. Great to have you here, Adrian. It's wonderful. It's brilliant. And Avril, good morning, Dov. Another week in lockdown. Unbelievable. Another week. I think we're going into the 6th week, if I'm not mistaken, here in the UK. I don't know where you're coming in from. Put in the comments. How long have we been in lockdown now? What's going on? How long is it? Is it 6 weeks? Are we going into 6 weeks now? Let's start becoming aware of our situation. I want to talk to you about awareness today and how important awareness is. I mean, how many roles do each of us have, right? How many roles? Put in the comments how many roles you've got. You might be a parent. You might be a spouse. You might have the role of a brother or sister, commonly known as a sibling. You might have a role as a friend. You might have a role as a neighbor. Wow. Denise, a role as a NHS worker, as an employee. You might have a role as an employer. You might have a role as, what else? What other roles are there? You might have a role as a carer. What roles do you have in your life? So many roles. Put it in. You also a role of a child yourself. You have parents, hopefully still alive. But even if they're not, you're still a role as a child. So put that in the comments. What roles do you have in your life? Many, many roles. And each of these roles have different tasks and different responsibilities attached to them. And we have to learn how to hold all these different roles that sometimes take us here a little bit over here, sometimes take us a little bit over there. Sometimes we've just got to be able to walk with the rhythm of the roles. Rhythm of the roles. All right, guys, that's what it's all about. It's about being aware of the different roles. Sometimes we might find that these roles, are beginning to compete one against the other. Which one do I do first? Which one do I do next? Okay, so it's not actually competing. Some people make a mistake and think the actual values of these roles are competing, but it's usually not the values. They're both important. What usually competes is the time, the slots. Do I do this first, or do I do this first? Do I do this first, or do I do this first? That sometimes is a big, big challenge for us. Well, that's what it is. Life is nothing but challenges every day. Denise says, many more roles you have, richer you are, but don't forget to look after number one. Absolutely. Self-care, really, really important. We've been brought up in a society with talks about number one. If you look after number one, then that must mean you're selfish. So what? You're just thinking about yourself? Oh, you're a selfish soul. Think about doing things for others. Of course. If you only thought about yourself, that would be something else. But to think about yourself and be aware of yourself is really important if you're going to have the energy, if you're going to have what to give to others. You must learn to nurture in yourself first. If you don't, you're going to go down the road of burnout. You're going to go down the road of exhaustion. You're going to go down the road of problems later on. So what you need to do is to nurture yourself, to build yourself up, to have that self-care in order to serve the values. And you might have values of helping other, of contributing to others, whether it's your own family, whether it's your neighbors and friends, whether it's your community, whether it's your society as a whole. And that's really important. If we want to have a high quality life, we will find at the end of the day that if we look after ourselves and contribute to others, we're going to have a higher quality life. So stick in the comments what you feel is that matters in this life to make it a more high quality life. We are talking about the T.R.I.U.M.P system. The T.R.I.U.M.P system is going to take us from a traumatic, difficult, distressing situation in our lives and hopefully take us through a path that will lead to triumph in our life, lead to raising that quality of life. And we're talking today about awareness. We have to be awareness, first of all, of who we are, awareness of these different roles in our life, awareness of these different responsibilities and tasks, and learn to hold it lightly. Okay, this is really important. So let's just take a minute. Let's just pause for a minute or two. Something that we really don't learn to do in the lifestyle that we live in, the part of the world that we live in. Just learn to pause and take it all in. And if you can look out the window at this moment, take in the sunshine, take in the blue sky, take in the white and dark clouds. Just pause. Even close your eyes for a minute or lower them. Take a moment to pause and even scan your body from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. Don't do this, of course, if you're working any heavy machinery or driving a car or doing a very important task. But if you're taking out these few minutes, as Denise said, for self-care, we're only together for a few minutes every morning. Just take this time out and pause. Scan your body from head going down towards your neck and shoulders, scanning that torso, upper back, upper chest, middle back, chest area, lower back and abdomen area. Just scanning by. Scan from your shoulders right down through your elbows to your fingertips. So important just to slow down and pause and become aware. Notice as you go down the areas of tension and some areas of relaxation. Tension and relaxation is neither good nor bad. It's just what your body's telling you at this moment. Moving down from your torso to your waist and hips area. If you're sitting down, just notice how your body bends and touches whatever you're sitting on. If you're standing up, just notice how your body keeps you erect and standing on your two legs. Just moving down now, down your legs, thighs, hips. Moving down to your calves and shins, past your knees, of course, toward your ankles. Just be aware of what's going on. Don't judge it. Oh my goodness, look at that again, or here's another pain, or just notice it without judgment, without saying it's good or bad. Just notice what's going on. As you come past your ankles towards your toes of your feet, just give your toes a little wiggle there. Notice and appreciate those toes. And just follow your breathing. How important and appreciative we are of our breathing, especially in these days. Just notice your breathing in and breathing out, just normally. No special breaths. And just think to yourself at the moment, what is it like at this moment to think about all these different roles in our life? You might be right at this moment in your parenting role. You might be right at this moment in your working employee role. You might be right at this moment on, this is my self-care time, me role. You might be in your friend role, just having spoken to or going to be talking to your friend later on. You might be in a spouse role, thinking about your partner and your relationship. Just reflect on those roles. You know, when we stop noticing, and our lives can be so busy with work, or busy with worry, or busy with activities and responsibilities. But when we stop noticing our own lives, we can get stuck in really painful patterns of reacting and shutting down, and even worse. So it's really, really important that we notice what's present. We notice our thoughts, we notice our feelings, we notice our sights and sounds. Look around you. What do you see? What do you hear? And say to yourself something like, right now, it's just like this. It's just like what I'm experiencing. It's just like what's going on. That's what it is, right? It's nothing more, nothing less. Just let's experience and allow ourselves to experience what we're experiencing. I mean, that's amazing in itself. So let's share and like and tag and watch party this. Let's bring people in. Let's be part of this community. Put in your comments what's happening with you in your life today. Let's share what's going on. You know, yesterday I was carrying on with my garden that I'm developing. This is brand new for me. I planted seeds in little pots that I made of plastic cups. I filled them with compost. I planted my tomato seeds. And then I gave them a little bit of water, and I put them in my home, in my windowsill. I'm going to just wait and watch. And that's just a beautiful metaphor also about our lives. You know, we plant little seeds of things that we want to do. We give them a little bit of nourishment, a little bit of this baby step and that baby step. We invest our effort in as much as we can. And then we let time and effort and practice. Every day a little bit more water. Every day a little bit more. Repeating and repeating and repeating. Every day a little bit more weather, a little bit more sunshine. A little bit more water. A little bit more fresh air. Always repeating and repeating, and eventually, hopefully, I'll start to see little shoots coming up. Little beginnings of this new behavior. Little beginnings of something new and beautiful in my life. And that's what I'd love to be able to pass on to you, this idea of being aware of everything that's going on in our lives, and just little bits, no big drastic movements needed at this moment. especially in the kind of world that we're living in. We've got to be careful and kind to ourselves and to others. And so just adding little bits, little bits, the same thing every day, a little bit more, a little bit more. Not too much. We don't want to destroy anything. Not too much, just enough to let it go and grow and grow and grow. And hopefully you'll start to see also little shoots of something, little roots growing underneath, little shoots moving on top of something, hopefully that's going to flourish later on. It doesn't have to happen right away. It can happen later on. But let's start planting the seeds and things that we want to do. Okay? So what we are talking about is about going from distress to high quality life, going from that traumatic situation in our lives to much more triumphant, higher quality. Even if we're living in the world that we're living in, we have to take the circumstances that we're living in as part and parcel of everything. And we want to be able to do that by transforming our behavior and our habits. This is what it's all about. It's about our behavior. It's about when we're in the forest and it starts raining to keep walking. Even we might be walking a little bit slower. We'll not be able to jog in the rain and the wind and the weather coming down on us, but we can keep moving. We can keep moving towards what matters to us, towards what's important to us. And we can do it right now, right this very minute. Okay, so this is about transforming our behavior and our habits, because sometimes we've learned things through our lives, become habitual in things that are not necessarily in our best interest. Maybe they were once, but they're not relevant to our lives today. Maybe they were really important when we were younger and when we were teenagers. Maybe even younger than that. We got ourselves into a type of behavior that was relevant for us in those days. But now maybe it's not relevant anymore. So we have to check this out and change our behavior to the behavior that we want to live in. And we usually know what kind of life we want to live. What's important to you? Stick it in the comments. What kind of life do you want to live? What do you want to get out of this triumphant course that we're going through together? This is the second week of really working hard at this, right? And we're going to work hard on this together. That's what it's all about. It's about transforming our behavior and habits, but doing it within a community, doing it within a support, doing it within helping each other get along by sharing our own experiences. It's not all easy. Believe me, I don't know how to do all this gardening stuff, and things are falling and things, and oh my goodness, the kind of things I was saying to myself, you do not want to hear. Because, I've got a clumsiness about me too, right? And it really sometimes can get very annoying and frustration, but it doesn't stop me now. It used to. But now I keep going. And eventually I see that I've managed to set things out. Yeah, and I'll tidy up and I'll clear up the mess afterwards. But I start to see what's important to me. I start to see it coming into fruition. And that raises the quality of our lives. So what kind of things do you want to do? What kind of things do you want to transform in your behaviors and habits? What kind of things would you like to see in your life that's not there now? So that's about behavior and habits. And so we'll start to go into the actual what kind of behavior and what we can actually do about it. So the B is for behavioral goals. What kind of things do you want to do in your life that will change your behavior? We're not talking about goals of, I want a brand new car or a new house or go on a holiday. These are our goals, and they're very legitimate goals. But it's not the goals that I'm talking about. I'm talking about behavioral goals. What do we want to do with our behavior that will make our life a higher quality, that will make our life more useful for myself and for everybody around me? What behavioral goals, what do I want to change in my life that will help me live a life that is, I wake up in the morning and go, this is a wonderful life to live. Look, we might have all sorts of goodness knows what conditions in our context. Goodness knows what conditions of the way that we've lived our lives up until now. Goodness knows what conditions we're actually living in, all sorts of hardships, believe me. But within that hardship, we can find a behavioral goal, some way that we want to behave within those hardships. We remember Viktor Frankl, and we bring him up all the time, who sat in the camps of Auschwitz, but yet found a quality of life, found meaning, found a way of living that will keep him going forward and that gave him some sort of satisfaction. It was a life of meaning, and that's what we want to find. What kind of behavioral goals will take us on that path of mindful meaning in our life? So we want to find behavior that increases the chances of living a higher quality life. So think about it. Put in the comments, what would give your life a higher quality life? What would you do differently? Okay, what would you start doing if you could, if everything was equal, everything was exactly the way you would want it? How would you treat yourself differently? How would you treat others differently? How would you treat the world differently? Okay, it doesn't have to always be human to human. Me going out there in the garden, I want to treat the world differently. I want to appreciate nature differently. I've always loved nature, but I've not tended it. I've not nurtured it. I might have just observed it, which is also good. But now I want to be part of it. I want to be part of that creation process. I want to plant seeds. I want to watch them grow. I want to sit there and have my coffee or my cold drink in my garden that I've been part of. And we don't all have that opportunity. So we can just think of other things in our life. What would we do differently? What can you bring in your life that's a bit of a challenge? That will take effort to develop. What could you put in your life that will enhance it? Even if we just start very, very small, like my little planting seeds. If I don't know if you've ever seen a tomato seed, I hadn't seen one until yesterday. It's the most tiny, tiny, tiny thing that I didn't even, it was difficult to even hold it. I had to stick to my finger, and I planted it in the soil and then covered it up and added a couple of drops of water. That's all we need to do, is to start changing our behavior as tiny, tiny, tiny little things. So what would you want to start doing? That's the B in behavior. That's what we want to start doing. We want to start thinking what we want to do. The E in behavior is about becoming engaged. Okay? Becoming engaged in our life. Reaching the goal involves taking one step in the direction of what matters, even though it might be raining, even though it might be cold and uncomfortable, just one step at a time. So what's your next step? What is the next step that you want to take today in your life that will make it higher quality for you? Okay? Let's talk about what Denise brought up about looking after ourselves. What would you do today? Just that tiny thing. It doesn't have to be a massive thing. It doesn't have to cost any money. It doesn't have to be anything, even if it's just taking 5 minutes to look outside the window. What can you do? What's your next step in doing what matters? And the H is about treating ourselves as holistic beings, including our body, our mind, and our soul, and understanding that everything is connected to everything. It's not just about dealing with our physical situation. It's not just about eating the right foods if you're not going to attend to all the different emotional roller coaster we're on, which might be dragging us to the fridge now and then. I know that happens to me now and then. And that is not enough if we're not dealing with the soul, with our intellect, with our imagination, with our visions, with our goals. What meaning do we have in our life? What can we do to our life to enhance it? Connect to that spirituality in our lives. Something that we have that the rest of the creatures in this world don't have. That ability to imagine, that ability to vision, that ability to build something that is not existing yet in this world. So by connecting ourselves to our soul, by connecting ourselves to our mind, by connecting ourselves to our body and our emotions and getting everything together, everything is connected. We can start to treat ourselves as holistic beings and adding together with our change of behavior, adding together with these new seeds that we're planting, we're going to build and we're going to bring our quality of life up. And today we're talking about the A. We're talking about being aware, taking that moment to pause. And it was good. And just be aware of what's happening in our body. Being aware of the different roles and responsibilities that we have. Being aware of how these different responsibilities and different tasks intermingle with each other and are part of that beautiful tapestry of life that you are you. You're original. There's nobody like you in this world. There's nobody like you that's ever been in this world, and there's nobody like you that's ever going to be in this world. You are completely unique, made up of your genetic makeup, make up of your learning experiences, make up of the knowledge that you've learned, made up of the experiences that you've had, made up of where you are and the nature that you live in, and how you've been brought up, and what kind of parents you had, and what kind of family you came from. Everything is a learning experience. It's not about just your genes. And that together makes you totally 100% unique. So how are you going to help change that behavior to the behavior that you want, to raise the quality of life that you want? It's about pausing. It's about understanding who we are. It's about understanding what we would like to have. It's about understanding what qualities in our life, how would we want to live our lives? When we stop noticing these things, we're going to have a lot of trouble in our lives. We're going to disconnect from who we are. We're going to find that we start shutting down and closing off. But when we notice these things, we can start to open up. We can start to grow little shoots of healthy behavior, of useful behavior, of contributing behavior, of behavior that will enrich our lives. Be curious in your own life. You know, when you're a tourist in a new place, you look around, you go, oh, look at that over there. Didn't know that was, oh my goodness, look at that over there. Look at that beautiful, beautiful view. That's how we should look upon ourselves. Look at this going on inside me. Look at this idea that's come into my life. Be curious about your own life, about all these different tasks and responsibilities, all these different functions that we have. The beautiful tapestry of just being human. So, Mary says, I've been practicing a lot to pay attention and noticing. It brings me liberation from bothering thoughts. And that's the most added value of the corona for me. Yeah, there can be value found in the way that we're living right at this moment. Yeah, even though there's, all sorts of strange and dangerous things that are going on, people have found that within trauma, there's what's called traumatic growth, that we can actually come out of this crisis better than we came into it, that we can find things that will help us grow and appreciate our lives that maybe we were taking for granted before they were taken away from us. I mean, how much more appreciation are we going to have now when we can go out and do things freely without being told we can't do them? How much are we going to appreciate being able to, walk in and sit down and have a drink in a restaurant or a bar or a cafe, or sit and have an ice cream with your friends? How much more are we going to appreciate life when we can walk in the park with our friends and loved ones without standing 2 meters apart? How much more are we going to appreciate our health and our breathing when we can walk and not be afraid of what some people call the invisible enemy? Okay, what about living in this world when we don't have fear every day that when somebody comes to our door, there might be an enemy or an enemy carrier. How much more are we going to appreciate our lives after this whole thing passes through? So there's a thing called post-traumatic growth, how we can actually increase the quality of our life, taking the lessons learned under these hardships. We can begin to get in touch with the meaning in our life, get in touch with the soul and the body and the mind that we have. Such a wonderful creation, such a wonderful thing that we can attach to and expand on and increase the quality of our life to the way that we would like it. This is the opportunity. This is the opportunity. It's within your reach to do it. That's why I called this It's Within Your Reach, because all of us can reach up and do it and grab on to the type of behavior, to the quality of life that we want and go from trauma to triumph. Thank you, Marie, for that. That was wonderful. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for contribution. Thank you for everybody. So Miri was in the house. Denise's birthday. Ava was in the house. Adrian was in the house. Carmen was in the house. It's wonderful to have you all watching and commenting and being part of this. And some of you are watching this on replay. It's also great that you're with us. This is about building this together. This is about being part of something together. So today we were talking about awareness. So after this, you can just sit and take that pause. Take a moment to pause and appreciate who you are and what different tapestries you have in your life. Tomorrow we'll be carrying on the course of It's Within Your Reach, the triumph from trauma to triumph in this total mind fitness well-being workout. Thanks everybody for joining me today. Look after yourselves. Have a great day.